Welcome to Embedded Edge, a podcast show hosted by Maurizio Di Paolo Emilio that brings life to some of the stories on embedded systems technologies and products featured on embedded.com and through other AspenCore media publications. In this show, you'll hear both engineers and executives discuss news, challenges and opportunities for embedded systems design in markets such as automotive, industrial, aerospace and consumer. Here is your host, Editor-in-Chief of Power Electronics News and Embedded.com, Maurizio Di Paolo Emilio.
Hello everyone and welcome to this new episode of Embedded Edge. Today's episode is brought to you by our sponsor, Synaptics. The topic is wireless connectivity, next-gen Edge AI wireless connectivity, trends, challenges and innovations. In this episode, our guest is Vineet Ganju, Vice President of Wireless Connectivity Products at Synaptics, a global leader in advanced sensing solutions that enhance human-device interaction. Vineet will share his insights on the rapidly evolving world of wireless connectivity technologies from Wi-Fi 7 and 8 to Bluetooth innovations, Zigbee, Thread and ultra-low energy ULE solutions. We dive into the trends and challenges shaping the future of connected devices, the critical role of security in wireless networks, and how Synaptics is driving the next wave of Edge AI connectivity advancements for consumer electronics, wearables, smart home products, and more. So let's talk with Vineet. Hello, Vineet. Thank you for being here. How is it going?
Good, thanks, Maurizio. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Where are you located?
I'm based in California in US.
Good, nice place. So today, as I mentioned at the beginning, we will start about next-gen Edge AI wireless connectivity. We will talk through about trends, challenges, and innovations. So before going through the questions, so please introduce yourself. Tell us more about you, your role, Synaptics.
Yeah, nice to be with you, Maurizio. Thanks for having me today. My name is Vineet Ganju. I'm the Vice President of Marketing for the Wireless Products Division at Synaptics. Super excited to be on your show today and talk to you everything about wireless connectivity technology.
Yeah, so wireless connectivity technology is evolving, is rapidly evolving, increasing demand in terms of interoperability, reliability, security features. New trend is wireless jamming and ultra low power solutions. So all of that depending on application. So let's start with what are the key trends, challenges driving the market today in general? So, and any suggestion to address these trends?
Yeah, I mean, that's a great question. I think that wireless technology is I like to think about it as one of those things that the average consumer never thinks about until it doesn't work, right? And then we're all frustrated of that it's not working or why it doesn't work. But we sort of take it for granted, right? It just works all the time and tends to work well when we need it. It's become such an integral part of our lives that I think it's we've become so dependent on it. So, the trends in things like phones, PCs, streaming media boxes, those things that have been around for a while, those types of products will always want higher and higher throughput, higher and higher bandwidth so that they can stream even more data faster, like even higher resolution video, higher resolution audio, and so on. So there's a trend in wireless communications towards, even higher throughput. But then there's a whole new category of applications, a new category of products like augmented reality glasses or cloud gaming or very low power IoT devices. And those products have a different need, more on low power or better range or lower latency or very good interoperability. So as those applications start to diverge and each of them become big enough on their own, we start to see a specialization or an optimization of wireless technologies to address the specific needs of those applications.
So let's talk about Wi-Fi 7. So Wi-Fi 7 introduces multi-band operation, enhanced interference management, automatic band switching, lower latency as well, and so on. So we should also talk about Wi-Fi 8, like the evolution of it. So how these different features, improvements would impact the real-world applications, and what role is Synaptic playing in this evolution?
Yeah, that's a great question, Maurizio. So, as you mentioned, Wi-Fi 7 has a lot of new technologies, like the ones you mentioned, like multi-link operation, or MLO, sometimes it's called. I mean, this is a pretty interesting innovation that allows you to stream the same stream of data over multiple Wi-Fi bands simultaneously. For example, if the AP and the device supports both 2.4 and 5 gigahertz bands, you can start a stream in the 5 gigahertz bands, and if the interference becomes too high, you can seamlessly start transitioning to the 2.4 gigahertz band. So what that allows you in the end is to maintain a high throughput, even in the higher interference environments. And so you'll get even higher bandwidth and even lower latency, especially in challenging environments. And again, so this will enable, use cases like the very low latency, high resolution video streaming. Like imagine you're doing a kind of a simulation, robotic simulation, where you're remotely controlling a robot or a surgical instrument, and you need to be able to have very low resolution and very good latency, very low latency, very high resolution at the same time. So it enables use cases like that. Wi-Fi 8 takes it even further. But Wi-Fi 8 allows even more products in the same location, even higher density. It allows you to manage many products at the same time. So this allows for even higher deployments of IoT applications, in a given space. So Synaptics, as a leading supplier of wireless connectivity technology, we're always looking to provide the latest standards, the latest technologies, but not just focused only on the mobile market or PC market. We're committed to being the first to bring those technologies to the IoT space and those other embedded IoT applications.
Thank you. So another connectivity that I would like to share with you is Bluetooth. So beyond traditional audio streaming, in particular, Bluetooth LE audio is bringing features like channel sounding, so which allows precise distance measurements between different devices. So please, let me know about this technology. How does this impact different applications, smart home ecosystems, and so on?
Yeah, no, that's a good question. I mean, Bluetooth, again, is one of those things that we sort of take for granted. These days, it seems that, almost anything can be connected to anything else over Bluetooth. One of the main use cases up till now for Bluetooth has been audio streaming, from your phone to your speaker, or phone to your headsets, or PC to your headset, and so on, phone to your car even. Bluetooth LE audio has been around for a while. It's not a new standard, but it's starting to kind of get some critical mass, and as more and more products adopt it, it's being more widely deployed. LE audio brings, new capabilities to Bluetooth, such as being able to stream audio with lower latency. This is useful for, again, for a gaming headset. If you're, playing a game on your PC and you're streaming the audio to your headset wirelessly, you want to be able to hear the sounds in the game as quickly as you can see them, so you can respond quickly. That's a big deal for gamers. LE Audio also brought in some new use cases like Auracast, for example, that allows you to broadcast audio to multiple Bluetooth devices at the same time. So imagine, you're in a sports bar and, everybody's wearing their own headsets, and you can listen to the audio, for the soccer game or the football game that's going on the TV. Everybody can listen to the same audio at the same time without that sound blaring throughout the bar. You could just listen on your own headset, or you can tune into your own station with your own headset. So Auracast is, again, starting to roll out now, and as more and more products adopt it, these types of use cases will become more realistic. And then, as you mentioned, besides LE Audio, the latest Bluetooth standard, Bluetooth 6.0, created this technology called channel sounding. So channel sounding is a technology that allows you to use Bluetooth to measure the distance between two Bluetooth devices. So for example, if you have a Bluetooth in your car key and you have it in your car itself, embedded in the car, then your car will be able to tell the distance from you to the car, as you're carrying this car key. So it can enable use cases like as you get closer to the car, it'll unlock the door locks or, turn on the heater or the air conditioning, depending on where you are. Or another use case, for example, is in asset tracking. In a warehouse, you can imagine Bluetooth tags on the assets themselves. And also there's some anchors around the warehouse. And so you can measure the distance and even location of those assets in those various use cases. So channel sounding is a pretty cool innovation for a Bluetooth technology that's already everywhere. It gives it some additional usefulness.
So when we are talking about connectivities, for sure we can talk about embedded systems and devices. They require robust and efficient connectivity. Let's see which are the key requirements here, from small form factors to low power consumption. So they face strict design constraints. So what about how you are addressing challenges with technologies like Zigbee, Matter compliance, and multi-protocol solutions?
Yeah, as you mentioned, first of all, as I said, Wi-Fi and Bluetooth are pretty ubiquitous. Like most of the products, support one or the other, or typically both today. So the first sort of design challenge, and this was, tackled over the last several years, was to be able to combine Wi-Fi and Bluetooth into a single chip. So that allows you to save space in your product. You don't need separate chips for Wi-Fi and Bluetooth, save cost and save power by combining them. But one of the challenges, of course, was coexistence, that the Wi-Fi and Bluetooth are using the same band, in 2.4 gigahertz, for example. So one of the innovations that Synaptics has done over the years is to make sure that the two don't stomp on each other, that you're able to get very good performance at Wi-Fi and Bluetooth at the same time, over the same band. So very good coexistence. Now, as you add more technologies into some of these products, like you mentioned, like Zigbee or Thread, you have the same goal, which is that you want to integrate it into a single chip. So that allows you to save area and save power and cost. But you still have to deal with these coexistence issues, especially Zigbee and Thread. They also use the 2.4 gigahertz band. So by having them all in the same device, it does allow you to do a better job of coexistence between these technologies while saving on the space and cost, as I mentioned. So Synaptics has this line of products we call it triple combo products. Almost every new connectivity chip we release these days supports the three major standards that I talked about. So Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, and then what we call 802.15.4, which is a protocol that supports Thread and Zigbee. So we'll support all three in the same device.
Let's talk about interoperability that I mentioned at the beginning, and the security. So both will be critical in this regard, also considering an increasing number of embedded connected devices. So ensuring secure and interference robust communication is a priority. So as more devices support multiple protocols like the ones that we mentioned, so interoperability can become a challenge. So how does Synaptics ensure seamless communication, data exchange between different devices with different wireless standards?
Yeah, I think that's a very good question. Again, interoperability, like I mentioned earlier, it's one of those things that you don't think about until it doesn't work. We kind of take for granted that any wireless device should be able to talk to any other wireless device, but it's not necessarily true. I mean, the industry does have standards, and most companies do adhere to those standards. But there are times when a particular device has implemented things in a certain way, and it's not able to talk to another, even if it's Wi-Fi, even if it's a Wi-Fi standard product, it may not be interoperable or not interoperate well. Maybe you're not getting the maximum throughput or the lowest latency with another device. So interoperability, even amongst Wi-Fi devices, or even amongst Bluetooth devices, is a challenge. And it's one of the ones that we've, addressed at Synaptics, having used our wireless technologies, having shipped it in billions of smartphones over many years. And smartphones is one of those applications that, has to interoperate with everything out there in the market. We've really spent a lot of time and have a very robust interoperability protocol that allows us to take all those things we did with phones that allowed it to talk to every device out there in the world. We're bringing that interoperability to other IoT devices now as well. So what that translates to is when you go buy a product, a Wi-Fi enabled product or Bluetooth product, and you bring it into your home and you turn it on, it will be able to connect to that router or that AP that's in your home. And again, when it works, you don't think about it. But the frustrating part is when you bring it home and you turn it on and try to connect it, and it says, connection not established or connection not found or something like that. And then the user has to call the company and get a technician to come out and support it. So it's a lot of frustration for the end user and a lot of cost for the product company. So good interoperability, even within just the major standards like Wi-Fi and Bluetooth, is very important. Now you add in the new standards, like you said, Zigbee and Thread and so on, which are meant to be more interoperable by nature. You have the same challenges with those. You have to have a solution that has not only just implemented the basic standard, but made sure that that solution can interoperate with most of the other products out there in the market.
Thank you. And what about AI in this regard? So how is playing a role in enhancing the security features of these devices?
Yeah, I mean, AI has gotten to the point now. I know everybody talks about AI everywhere, but the reality is it's actually very useful in a lot of specific applications. Processing has gotten to the point where it's gotten cheap enough and low power enough that you can do AI on device, at the edge, in the edge products themselves. And up till now, AI has been mostly discussed in the realm of like computer vision or video enhancements and so on, or speech recognition. But one of the things that's emerging, and Synaptics is kind of a pioneer in this area, is utilizing AI in wireless technologies. For example, one of the use cases is in home security applications or home monitoring applications. You can use AI to monitor the change in wireless signals that are happening in a room. And by monitoring those changes in the signals, we're able to determine things like, is there a person in the room? Is it actually a person and not a dog or a cat, for example? Has that person, are they kind of standing or have they fallen down? And it can do all of these things, without the use of a camera itself. So you can monitor for people, you can monitor the health of those people, but without the invasiveness of a camera necessarily. Or you can use a camera as a second stage to do a further verification, if that person is okay. So it has a whole range of AI with wireless technologies. Has a range of applications in home security and health monitoring, and again, asset tracking and other similar types of use cases.
So this is a Wi-Fi, so emotion detection by using Wi-Fi signals.
Yeah, exactly. And so we call that, in Synaptics, we call that wireless sensing or Wi-Fi sensing. And Wi-Fi sensing also, it's been around for a while. It's not a new thing. But what Synaptics is uniquely doing is taking our capabilities in AI processing and marrying it with our capabilities and technologies with Wi-Fi monitoring and marrying the two to be able to produce applications like this AI-powered Wi-Fi sensing.
Okay, good. So another topic is that I would like to talk with you is certification. So many developers are so struggle with the certification and integration challenges. So maybe we need to reduce the famous time to market in this case. So how does Synaptics Astra product line and reference design help simplify this process, reduce time to market for new products? Maybe you may share some reference design.
Yeah, no, I think that's a great question. I think RF technologies, wireless technologies, or design of wireless technologies, by its nature is you have to have a lot of experience to make the products work well. You have to, it's kind of like, it's almost like art, where you learn over doing it years and years. It's not something where you can just push a button and everything works first time. And the people who design these types of products, that experience matters when they produce good performing wireless products. So at Synaptics, first of all, since we've been doing this for decades, we have a lot of experience baked into the wireless technologies themselves to make it easier to use, easier to integrate into an end product. But we've also worked with a network of partner companies that take the chip and build the local technologies are needed around the chip, like antenna design and board design. And so they'll produce these things called modules, RF modules or Wi-Fi modules, which are little mini boards just for the wireless technology. And these modules, we work closely with our partners to make sure the performance is good. But one of the key benefits is they've abstracted the difficult part of wireless design and encapsulated into a module, including certification. As you mentioned, one of the things with wireless technologies is that it's regulated in every region worldwide. And to complicate matters even more, every region or every country has a different regulation, a different amount of power that you can transmit in different bands. And so if you want to be able to sell your product in Europe and in the US, and in Asia, you'll have different certification requirements in each region. So one of the things our module partners do, for example, is to make sure that those modules are certified for the specific regions. And then, as you mentioned, Synaptics has a processor product line, SoCs, which we call the Astra product line. That's a complement to our Veros wireless technology product line. So one of the things we do for developers is to marry the two. So our processors and our connectivity are actually packaged together in a reference design product, a development package that allows developers to develop a full system, a SoC processor along with the wireless connectivity. It's pre-integrated, pre-optimized. You buy this Machina development kit and it works out of the box. The processing and the wireless connectivity works out of the box. So it really speeds time to evaluation and time to development, as you mentioned, for full system designs, including both processing and wireless connectivity.
Thank you. Great. So let's see how emerging technology like ultra low energy (ULE) and GPS are influencing connectivity in different applications. So they are becoming crucial, important for applications like in-home security and wearables. So how is Synaptics enabling these technologies? What impact can have on battery life and user experience?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. I mean, as we talked about, there's a lot of complementary technologies to Wi-Fi and Bluetooth that go into a lot of products that we use every day. I mean, GPS is also a significant part of Synaptics' portfolio. It's an area that we continue to invest in and produce new products. And GPS is, again, for people, like, for example, there's fitness enthusiasts and they wear these smartwatches or fitness trackers. And, by the very nature of the product, one of the things you want to be able to do is track, how far you're running and what distance and all that kind of thing. And so the GPS is function is extremely critical for that product, because it, one that doesn't work will maybe shortchange your run by half a mile. So you'll only think that you ran 3.5 miles when you really ran 4 miles, and that's going to drive that fitness enthusiast crazy, right? So they need accurate GPS tracking technology, even in difficult conditions. One of the difficult conditions for GPS is in a city where there's tall buildings,
Yes.
or in a rural area where there's not good satellite coverage. So, even when you go for a run in Manhattan, you want to be able to make sure you're getting tracked accurately. So, accurate GPS tracking and being able to use the different bands is very important, and that's something that Synaptics is investing in and continues to invest in. That's and all the while that you're doing that accurate tracking, you don't want your watch to run out of battery life. I mean, I know that's happened to me before, where I'm like 5 minutes into my run and I forgot to charge it, and all of a sudden it's not tracking or can't listen to my audio anymore. So we want that higher accuracy, the better robustness in harsh environments, but while saving on battery life, so that that watch can last for a week or a month, without having to recharge. So that's a big focus for Synaptics. Our newest GPS product line that's out on the market these days in brand name trackers is already the best in the market in terms of power and performance. And with the new roadmap that we announced recently, we are going to even lower power technologies, lower power process nodes, and even better performance. That's GPS. I mean, you mentioned ULE also. ULE is also a kind of innovative spin of a standard that allows you to use a 1.9 gigahertz band, and it's completely free. Like, it's completely dedicated to this ULE technology. So that's the first big advantage of ULE, is that it's pretty much interference free, which allows you to get very long range, hundreds of meters of range at very low power. So one of the big use cases for ULE is for sensors, security sensors, that you can put the ULE communication technology in a door sensor or window sensor or a motion sensor, somewhere where it's going to run off a very small battery for many, many years. And it'll have a long range that allow you to connect to the hub, no matter where it is in your home or outside as well. So ULE is a exciting technology. It's something that Synaptics invests in also. There's major home security companies in the US that have launched it in massive deployments in the last year. So we're starting to see it become more and more ubiquitous. One of the other benefits of ULE specifically, besides the low power and long range, is that it's actually able to maintain a voice communication, a voice link over this very low power, low bandwidth technology. So not only can you detect motion in these security sensors, but you can actually open up a communication link. So imagine like a fire sensor, a smoke alarm sensor goes off in your home, and then the operator can be sitting in a security company somewhere and actually open up a communication link to your home through that security sensor and ask you, how is it going? Is it a false alarm? Was it real? Do you need help? And so on. So being able to do voice communication over this low power, long range technology is critical in security applications.
Thank you. So, and synchronization would play in the wireless ecosystem, so a big role. So let's see the role of synchronization in this regard. So it's essential for seamless communication between different connected devices, in particular where precise timing is critical, such as security systems, home automation. So could you elaborate on how indeed the latest acquisition of Synaptics, Pakecraft, so has enabled to deliver more accurate and reliable wireless solutions. So how does this acquisition enable better synchronization across various protocol and help improve overall system performance?
Yeah, I mean, we're super excited with the acquisition of Pakecraft. It was a very innovative company and kind of a leader in the market, especially in Bluetooth low energy applications and protocols. So with the acquisition of Packetcraft, we're able to do, as you mentioned, very seamless synchronization, especially in Bluetooth Low Energy or BLE applications. And especially, one of the focus areas for Packetcraft and for us now is synchronization of audio devices. For example, imagine in your home, you have a sound bar or kind of a main source of audio, and then you'll have wireless speakers, maybe in different rooms of your house, and you want to be able to play audio out of multiple speakers at the same time. If the audio being played out of those speakers is slightly off, like if they're not perfectly synchronized, let's say they're off even by tens of milliseconds, then what you'll hear is this kind of echo effect that you hear audio, and then 50 milliseconds later you'll hear the same audio coming from a different source, and you get a sort of reverb or echo effect, which is very annoying. So being able to precisely play audio at the exact same time from multiple products is critical for multi-room streaming or even headset TWS type applications. And so one of the innovations that Packetcraft has done is allow you to synchronize audio playback from multiple devices, even if they're connected wirelessly, and so they don't have a physical connection to synchronize the clock sources, for example. And so this has brought in a kind of a new wave of audio products, wireless audio products, especially using LE audio, like we mentioned before, that weren't previously possible. And then you can extend that synchronization idea to beyond audio, right? Even data synchronization, for example, and again, in tracking systems, being able to precisely locate a device, a Bluetooth device, when you're trying to track it, real-time location tracking, for example, then you can use similar synchronization techniques as well.
Thank you. So, in conclusion, before concluding this great podcast, so we have analyzed different situation, different technology in terms of connectivity, wireless. So my last one is so what's next? So let's see what's emerging technologies excite you the most. So from ultra low energy connectivity to UWB and NFC as well. So we are seeing even more innovation, continuous innovation in wireless technology. So what do you foresee as the next big breakthrough in this space, in this field?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a great question because, we tend to think of Wi-Fi and Bluetooth a lot just because it's so ubiquitous. And it's true that the major kind of use cases tend to get adopted in Wi-Fi and Bluetooth as the standard emerges. It's able to, accommodate more and more use cases. But there are some use cases that are not handled well or not optimized well in Wi-Fi or Bluetooth. And you'd mentioned UWB, for example, ultra wideband. One of the specific needs that ultra wideband addresses is being able to send a lot of data, very high bandwidth data, very quickly, with very low latencycycy. And also one of the other use cases that it addresses is being able to very precisely detect where a product is. So we talked about Bluetooth channel sounding being able to detect distance between two Bluetooth objects, but it's sort of a coarse measurement. If you really needed to precisely detect the distance, down to the centimeter level or maybe even millimeter level, then that's where UWB shines, for example. So, one of the emerging use cases for UWB that we're keeping our eyes on is potentially using it as a payment mechanism. So you want to be able to send data in a very secure way, first of all, from your phone to the payment terminal. But secondly, you need that precise distance measurement, right? Because you want to make sure that you're not just paying for things as you're walking through a store and just connecting to every payment terminal, that you very precisely can locate your phone with that payment terminal. So as UWB becomes more and more adopted in phones, some of the major phone manufacturers are already starting to add it. Then we'll start seeing more and more use cases for it, and kind of the iterations will continue to evolve. So that's one area that we're keeping an eye on. And in a recent acquisition, we did acquire UWB Technologies, and we're looking at developing a roadmap there around that technology.
Good. Looking forward to it. Thank you so much, Vineet. Thanks a lot for this great conversation. Thanks for sharing these great topics. Keep in touch.
Yeah, thanks, Maurizio. Thanks for your time. I appreciate it. It's a lot of fun.
This episode of Embedded Edge was brought to you by Synaptics. Thank you very much, Synaptics, for sponsoring us. If you want to learn more about Synaptics solutions we have been talking about today, please check the links on the podcast page at eetimes.com or the Synaptics homepage, synaptics.com. Or you can visit Synaptics at the Embedded World Show in Nuremberg this month, where they will be in Hall 4A, booth 259.
That brings us to the end of this episode. Stay tuned for more news and technical aspects about embedded systems design. If you are listening to this on the podcast page at eetimes.com or embedded.com, links to articles on topics we have discussed are shown on this page. Embedded Edge is brought to you by Aspen Core Media. The host is Maurizio Di Paolo Emilio, and the producer is James Eade.